What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another live with RJM Fish Tales. Tonight we have Daren Wendell on, and also Tyler Bean because I was talking to Daren earlier, and he's asking me, about the Team Kayak series that me and Tyler fish. He's like, I'd like to hear about it. So I was like, well, if you want to hear about it, I might as well bring Tyler on since he was my partner, and he could tell his side of a story because we kind of broke up at one spot. At day two, we kind of broke up and said, fish different ways. But if you don't know who Daren is, Daren, I've known Daren now for about, I think, almost 3 years, maybe even so, since I've been on his first live stream. And when I was on his live stream, I think about 3 years ago or so, I know Darren was around like 7 or 8 thousand subscribers to his YouTube channel. But this guy has been working viciously hard on building his channel. And if you don't know who Darren is by now, you will, because he's just growing and growing every day. He does a lot of content. He has multiple DIY kayak crates on his YouTube channel, and that's kind of really how I even found Daren was from his DIY crate. For kayak fishing, and he's done a lot of DIY stuff through the years now, and all that good stuff. He also does a lot of reviews on fish finders, graphs. I mean, Bates, he has done it all, and he has aggressively built his channel since I've known him in the past 3 years. So, welcome to the show, Daren, and Tyler. Welcome as well. Tonight
Yeah,
we're going to talk about Daren. We're going to talk about the Team Kayak series that me and Tyler fished, and have some fun.
awesome. Thanks for having me on, brother. Yeah, it's been 3 years since I had you on my show with JT.
I think maybe two. I think
Jeez,
it's. I mean, I've been doing YouTube now. I think it's going on my fourth year.
same here.
So maybe then 3 years then.
Yeah, I mean, I must have had you on one of my first you and JT on early on. Yeah, we're like 88 episodes in now, so it's like wild.
Yeah.
Time's getting away from me. I'll be completely honest with you. I was like, oh yeah, I've been doing this for 3 years. Like a couple weeks ago, like no, your wife's like, mm-mm. My wife's like, nope, you've been doing this for 4 years. Like, dang it, doesn't
Yeah, I would have.
when you
I would have to look though. I really feel like I think I'm going on my. Maybe I'm not going on my fourth year. I don't know. I forget. But Darren has done a lot of videos on YouTube, and this guy is constantly working on all of his social media pages. He does a lot of posts. He's been a busy little beaver, and the in- the intentions are, if I'm not mistaken, to go full time. Correct?
You got it, man. Um, I have a date in mind up here in my noggin in my brain. I think I might even shared it with a few people. It's not like out there publicly, but if you gave me a call, I'd tell you type of deal.
Hmm.
It's not really super close. It's not really super far away. So right now, I don't know, man. It's YouTube's funky, and how much you can earn is funky. I'm actually getting it ready to do a podcast after this one, the one I do every Tuesday night, right after yours. Some people like hop from this one over to mine. They're like, hey, I just got to this one, I'm on this one. They go podcast hopping. But yeah, the plan is to go full time, and essentially, I'm trying to bank enough money because I know my burn rate, and
Hmm.
so I need to give myself. Um, I got a 5 year burn rate right now. I want to get to 7. Once I get to a 7 year burn rate, if I can't make it happen in 7 years, then I don't deserve to be a content creator. So we'll see how fast I can get to that point. My wife and I have had a lot of conversations about it, and so it's just a matter of time right now.
So to go full time, this is something that you really enjoy, that you want to go full time to do this.
Oh my gosh, I've been doing it. I feel like full time for a couple of years now,
Mm.
um, and so that's all. That's all I freaking think about. I mean, I'm at work. That's all I think about. I'm sitting in church, even though I shouldn't be thinking about it. That's all I think about. And so it's just nonstop sleep, eat, drink, not just becoming, a better angler, right? But also doing the business side of it and content creation side of it, which is a whole nother skill set slash time suck slash you have to enjoy that. Because my wife, she has her own YouTube channel, Wendell Woodworks, and she loves the creator side of that, but she hates the content creation side of that. And so just because you're a creator or a creative doesn't mean you're gonna love the hard work that goes into it. And I get that a lot. People are like, I don't want to turn my passion into a job.
Okay. So when you do plan on going full time, if it happens, and I hope it does for you for sure, Are you going to do anything different to your channel? Will there be a different perspective to your channel? Will we have more fishing? Will there be more reviews? Will there be road trips? Will it be all of that? Will you be adding anything new, you think, to your channel? Will you, since you have more time to do it full time, do you think you'll sit there and try to create some of your own things to throw on a kayak and maybe share it with people? Do more DIY stuff or
Yeah, it's an interesting question because I feel like if anybody were to typecast me as a content creator, they would say, "Oh, you're a DIY," and like I did DIY 4 years ago. It was one of my first videos, and that's probably why a lot of people still throw me into that category. But since
mm,
then, I don't want to be. And here's the thing with content creation: once you're known for something, like that's what you kind of get niched into. And so we all know there's people out there like all they do is stability on boats, and they're known as the boat stability content creator. And you got this person, they're known as the cover and complain about all of the tournament angler creator. This person's known for choose your own adventure. I try to mix it up where I don't get typecast into one thing. Now, granted, you might have a video that YouTube sends. Through the algorithm or through what I like to call the audience. They just happen to like it. But I always try to mix it up. So, 1 week you're going to get a, walkthrough, like you said earlier, on a fish finder. The next week you're going to get a lure video. The next week you're going to get a rod breakdown. The next week, and it's real. All this really is. I don't have like a roadmap where I write all this stuff down. It's literally my journey, right? And so if I'm into a certain rod or looking into a new rod, I get that rod and then I test out that rod and then I do and so I'm not like seeking these out. It's literally are things that I'm doing and learning. That's why you might randomly get a trailer. If your trailer's not working because of the hookup, try this, because literally I've had that issue and I figured, hey, if I'm finding out the answer to that, I'm sure someone else probably wants to know the answer to that if I found a solution to it. And so boom, I try to mix it up because I don't want to be that typecasted content creator. I don't want to be the DIY guy. I love providing value in the DIY space around content creation, but I don't want to be known for all Daren does is the DIY stuff. And I'm known for kayak crate videos. I've done 2 of them. YouTube sent them, but I recently just partnered with Yak Attack and I'm going Black Pack Pro. So it's a little different for me and a little bit different for the community. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on it.
yeah, I mean, I just had a thought and then my thought went out the window to ask you, but yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Just like I just talked about in one of my recent lives, that I'm throwing camping into the mix with my son and my wife, or just me and my son. And I'm the same way as you. I do whatever I'm doing, whether I'm buying a new rod, a new reel. I'm going to talk about it and give you my opinion on it. Same thing when I change trailers 16,000 times, or if I buy a new truck, or if I'm adding accessory to my truck that I think is worthwhile. I'm going to share that video because YouTube is about the search factor, the search function, like how to, or what kind of rack do you, ladder rack do you like to use on your truck? That's what YouTube is all about. So I'm the same way. Like I told people before, I don't care about the algorithm. I don't plan on doing this full time. If it ever happens, great. I'm not doing this to have people like me. I'm just doing it to help, our community and also, anything else, truck accessories, whatever that I'm doing, because if I can figure it out and share it with somebody so they can learn, that's what it's all about to me. It's because the kayak fishing itself and fishing itself is a small niche. When you go across YouTube in general. So if you have a video that you can share that will do big, that's great. And it helps, helps the people out there and it also helps your channel out as well. So, when you do go full time, I think that was my question that I had in my thought.
Oh yeah.
Uh, do you plan on doing multiple, maybe 2 to 3 videos a week and just keep pumping and keep grinding at it?
Yeah, and this is what I'm not even sure I'll even tell anybody. Like I'm not gonna make the video, I don't think. I could change my mind. Where it's like the classic I quit video. I'm not sure I want to make that because I've seen guys and girls do that, and then I view them in a different lens. Because now I view them as desperate, right? So now they need money, and so anything that they potentially may be promoting, I see as a
Mm-hmm.
desperation move. And I'm not doing it desperation move. Like I just shared with you, I have 7 years of a burn rate on the cash at hand. And so I don't want to be looked at as a sellout. And I think by making that statement, hey, I'm going full time, everyone would be like, anything that I talk about becomes a sellout move. But what I hope to do a whole lot more of is something I don't have time to do right now, which is going to be collaborations with a lot of my friends in the business. Like I want to go on a
Mhm.
road trip and do collabs with. I mean, Gramps and I have been talking about fishing together for years, and the only thing we've ever done together is the knucklehead down against each other. So we're actually going to be locking arms. We're going to do a team for the kayak adventure series. So we're going to do that team. So that's coming up. We'll get to fish together for the first time, fish together. So I want to do a lot more collaborations. I want to travel down to Tennessee, get on the water with John Dalton, get on the water with Rudd. I want to travel, maybe out to Iowa and start meeting up with some guys out there. All the friends I just don't have the time because I don't have the vacation to get out
Mhm.
there and do a lot more collaborations with. So you'll see a lot more of that. Of course, the frequency will increase, but hopefully the value, because I'll have more time to put into the scripts, have more time to put into the thoughts, have a lot more time to put into the content creation. So hopefully you get a better result. Right now, what you're getting is just part-time Daren, right? I don't
Mhm.
have anybody. I don't really shop out anything. I don't shop out my thumbnails. I do them all. I don't shop out my editing. I do it all. Scripting, do it all. Everything is a one-man band right now. And that's on top of being a VP of a nonprofit. And I have a team of 8. And so what you're seeing now, just part-time Daren, I look forward to whenever I have full-time Daren time and energy, because I think it's going to provide more value to the community.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. You think we'll ever see the missus or family and do some family trips on these YouTube videos, or you want to kind of keep the kids off screen and just keep it to yourself and not bring the
Yeah,
missus along?
these are all thoughts that I have, right? And my girls would love every time I come down and do a podcast, like, oh, Dad, I want to be your host. I was like, you only want to be my host tonight because you want to stay up later. When you actually become excited about fishing, you be my host. So she's 8
Hmm.
right now. I have no problems bringing my family into it. And this is
Mhm.
something I know I do poorly. I am like uber educational. I'm not like the guy who does a lot of the funny real stuff. You're not going to see that. I'm kind of a teacher type of channel for the most part. And I was like, I need to spend a little bit more time connecting with people and sharing a little bit more personal stuff, because I don't do that now. So I need to integrate that in my content. At first, I didn't want to do it because everyone's like, oh, I don't want to hear about your personal life story. But now that I'm in and I got the views and the community that I built, I know that I would want to know a little bit more beyond the tell me about the breakdown of this lure and the rod and the power and the action and the line and the lure and the retrieve. Uh, Give me a little juice on what's going on in your life. And so I look forward to more of that. I just don't have time to like put the brain space into a script to go through and be like, okay, I've now read the script over 3 times. And now I got to go over and see if I can add any humor. And now I got to go and add potentially, can I bring my family into it? And then I got to go through and add, how can I bring a little personal touch to it? So
Mhm.
that's all just time. Time is my number one enemy right now.
Okay. But I mean, I think adding a personal touch to any channel, because I don't share everything, but I share a good part. And when I'm out fishing and I talk to you, because I don't know, I mean, I have nothing to hide. What I use is what I buy. I mean, nothing's really given to me. I'll tell you my true thought, which is kind of good. I don't need partnerships. If somebody comes up to me and addresses something and says, "Oh, you want to partner with me on something?" That's great. I have some things, in the works behind the scenes, but it's already stuff that I've been using for years. And if I like it, I'm going to tell you. But I like the
Yeah.
personal touch. I think that not being paid by somebody, even though when you go full time, you kind of might need that, and there's nothing wrong. I just, as long as you use the product and are honest about it, that's all that matters. But I don't know. I think adding the personal touch there, and adding things, telling a little bit more about your life and stuff. I think it's cool. It gives, like you said, people like to know more about you, and then you can also gain more following that way, because then they actually have a connection with you, and that's how I feel. So,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
relatable.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's relatable
100%.
for sure.
And
Uh,
I see people who do that really well. Right. I'm seeing a lot of content creators like, oh, you do that really well. And I start taking mental notes in my head. It's like, okay, I need to figure out how I can make that like a second play. First thing you're looking at, great, but throughout the content. So I hear you. I know I need to do it. And so hopefully not. I don't have to wait till I go full time to do that. I need to start integrating that now.
yeah.
That's the plan.
For sure. And I know you do a lot of research when you go to do your fish finder reviews and stuff, just from what I've, little bits and pieces that I catch and I have time to watch some stuff, but I already know you personally anyway behind the scenes that I know that you are that person who does research, finds all the facts before you do video, and so you're accurate. So you put the effort into it anyway. You're always going to have those clowns out there that say something anyway, but I mean, I know that you do a lot of research, and I know a lot of people appreciate that because you spend the time. I mean, there's a lot of people that just go shoot videos and are just kind of winging it, and
Yeah.
I just feel like you do actually you put the effort into it, you do the research on what you're talking about, and how you present it on your channel, I think is very well. It's like I was never that teacher person. I was always a class clown. I have no problem being in public, but sometimes I stutter, sometimes I have the thoughts, I can't get the thoughts out of my head right. So I think I've gotten better through the years, being that I talk on video and stuff, but
Yeah.
I think you do a very good job at what you're doing, and I'm glad to see you grow as fast as you are, because I mean, you're just since I've been on with your live stream, I mean, you're going pretty far, and you're growing every day, which is a good thing. So,
Well, I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
uh, this year though, for YouTube and socials and any of that good stuff, do you plan on going
Yeah.
anywhere special, doing a special trip, or is this gonna be this kayak adventure series stuff, or do you have something that nobody even knows about yet that you plan a trip, far away, and you're gonna do this epic 1 week trip, and you're gonna have 1,000 videos and hundreds of hours of video,
I wish, right? That's like the collaboration dream where I go out on a road trip. There are a few things I might have shared them before, but I'm not sure, to be completely honest with you. New for this upcoming year. Of course, I'm a huge fan and teach the unconfidence lure. I always want to have at least one bait that's always hooked up that I have no clue how to fish, and I'm not going to unhook that up. One, until I get it hooked up and lost underwater, or two, until I figure that thing out. And so I have a few in the back of my mind. I got the Buka Baits Trick Shad, 6-inch. I got a thread fantastic color. I'm looking forward to working that into the rotation. I got massive gizzard shad up here in all the lakes that I fish, and if I fish that right, I should be able to really add in a lure I'm not typically confident in. I also just had Mule Fishing on, so Fish Anything on the podcast. I've had him on now twice, and I want to at least have one rod since I've upgraded to the Black Pack Pro. And on my milk crate setup that I've been running for years, I only had 6 rod holders. Now, granted, there's all kinds of different ways you can get more rods on your boat, but now I have 8. So, okay, I'm going to fill it with another rod, but also I have an ultralight Presso from Daiwa and an Aereo spinning rod. And so I'm going to have hooked up some smaller presentation. I'm going to start getting into ultralight this year. I'm not going to fish it all the time, but whenever I'm not getting bites on all my other presentations, hey, maybe they want something small, or maybe I'll just go after crappie or whatever it may be. And so that's going to be something new that's new to the channel. I want to break out the Headbanger Spitfire lure. I got a big order coming in that I just put in a couple days ago, so I'm excited about some of those things I'm getting. They got the rocker heads. It's just a new erratic movement, and I'm already thinking through where and when I'm going to be throwing those. The big thing for me, going to ICAST.
Okay.
Never been to ICAST before.
You'll get COVID, just so you know. You'll have COVID.
Fantastic.
I came home.
You came home with COVID?
Yeah, from ICAST this past year.
I mean, there's so many people. I don't know what, everyone. I was talking to a rod company there. They're like, yeah, every time I go, I come home sick. It's like, fantastic. Makes sense. Everyone's shaking hands and all that. But I'm going, now, granted, I'm going under the editorial badge. So if you guys aren't unfamiliar with ICAST and you're listening in, it's not open to the public. So you got to get in through a different way. And one of the ways you can get in is through an editorial badge. Basically, you're covering it. But there's a lot of different things you have to, requirements you need to meet in order to get that editorial badge. But I've met all those. I'm going in. I got a cameraman. So we'll be going down. And it'll be fun on the content creation side. And I'm going to do that. That's not the main reason I'm going. Main reason I'm going is let's circle back to the beginning of this conversation where I want to go full time, right? Mm-hmm. And in order to go full time, I need to get in front of all the major players. And so I have a few individuals that are going to be introducing me to everybody they know. And I'm really down there for the business of content creation. I'm not down there to grab content first and foremost. That's secondary. And yeah, we'll pick up some content along the way, but it's getting to know the industry. I get known by the industry. So I've been working really hard on that,
Networking.
putting together a media kit. I'm putting together, I got websites. I put together my LLC a few months back. And so I'm really getting and dialing in the business of becoming of YouTube. So that's where my mind's focused at. And the last thing is developing partnerships I want to be a part of for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want to be that content creator that's and it's almost inevitable to a degree where it's like, okay, they hop from this kayak brand to this kayak brand to this kayak brand, depending on who's paying that year. Right. And we see it. And it's kind of maddening because half these guys that are getting into kayaks and girls are not even kayak anglers. They're boat anglers and they just happen to have a name to them. Nonetheless, I regress. But I really want to find out and determine what those partners are going to be for me. I want to love their product, use their product, and just kind of choose one and stick with them. And it might mean it's not a cash deal at the beginning. Maybe it's just product deal, but I can prove. And I want it to be a quality product. I like American made. I like great warranties because I'm going to be putting my personal brand name to it. And so these are the things I'm thinking about and the long-term potential of being with that partner, not just the short term, right? I want to be with these companies for a very long time. So I'm carefully selecting those in my head and starting to have those conversations. I've had more conversations with companies in the past month than I have in the last 4 years.
Okay, cool. I mean, ICAST is fun. You'll definitely have fun at ICAST, and then the business side of thing is always there. There's always that business perspective for a lot of people who go down there. It's always there. I mean, that's what it's all about anymore. It's really ICAST is for other retailers, other dealers, to me, media people as well. To me, it's not really, you can see the product and you can introduce it and show it to the public via YouTube videos, but it's a business trip more per se, per se. So, that's what it's all about, but it's also fun and you get to see people that we know across social media, and actually get to, shake hands with them in person and all that stuff. And that could turn into other relationships too, down the line and going out to dinner and all that stuff after the fact. So it's fun. I don't know if I'm going to go down this year. We kind of do a year, skip a year, go a year, skip a year, but it's all going to depend. I mean, if it's right for me to go this year, even if I just run down for a day or two by myself, my wife usually likes to come, but I may go down. It all depends. I mean, it's still months away anyway, and it's the last thing on my mind. But my biggest thing on my mind this year is the Team Kayak Series with Tyler and stuff. So
congrats on your 5th place finish, by the way.
4th place, get it right, okay?
Whoa, come on,
It should have been 2nd place, but yeah, it was 4th place.
Well, there it is.
There it is.
The big check.
Yeah, we can start talking about that a little bit.
apologize.
That's okay. We
Yeah, I
can
wanna
start
hear
talking
about
about that.
You withheld the information from me, and you're like, "Hey, we'll talk about it on the show." So I'm hearing about it for the first time, outside you being pissed that you didn't get 2nd.
Yeah. So we'll kind of go back and forth between me and Tyler, but basically, when this came about, me and Tyler says, I think Tyler says I asked him. I forgot who asked who, but I probably asked him. And I know Tyler wanted to get back into tournament fishing because Tyler's been tournament fishing longer than I have. I just kind of did a couple in the past, but he wanted to get back into it this year. He has more time this year, so I said let's do the Team Kayak Series. This way you can split costs when needed and everything else. And he says that's great. So we decided to do it. So Murray was Lake Murray was the first tournament for the year. I fished Murray personally probably about 10 times since I've been in South Carolina. Sorry, I gotta get the right state. So I've been there enough, and I had enough areas to fish to figure it out. But Tyler's never fished Lake Murray before, so it was actually his first time there. He pre-fished on Thursday because I had to work, so I took off Friday. So he pre-fished on Thursday based on the ramp. I told him let's go hit, and he said he found fish. That's great, and he actually found some nice ones. So he didn't want to catch too many and kind of burn out the area. So on day one, I said you go ahead to the spot, and I'm gonna stick behind and let me know what's going on. So I think within 30 minutes, you probably called me and says, "Get your ass up here." So, yeah. So I think Tyler caught 2 when he called me. That was scoreable. Well, actually, anything scoreable over 12 for your first 10, because the Team Kayak Series consists of our best 10 fish between the both of us over a 2-day period. So Tyler could catch them all.
You can catch them all second day.
Yeah, you can catch
Yeah.
them all second day. You
Yep.
can call out all your fish on second day. Tyler could catch them all. They had teams. The first place team, Wyatt and Justin Faircloth, Wyatt
Yeah.
Hammond. Justin did I think only caught a 19 on day one, and Wyatt caught a bunch of them. And Wyatt Hammond. I don't know if you know him or not. He does very well at Lake Murray. So on day two, Justin caught a lot more fish, but all his fish were blown out by Wyatt's fish. So if you
Yeah.
look at the team standings, it shows Justin with
Oh.
0 inches and Wyatt with all the fish. And he blew us out. What was it? He had 210 or 211 or 201.
Man, he had a ton. I know
Jeez.
day one he had 207 by himself.
Hammertown.
Yeah.
So
So
Hey,
I think it was.
choose your teammate wisely, is what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Justin did good. He had like 93 inches on the second day,
Yeah.
but his biggest fish was like 19 and a quarter, and it didn't even measure. And
It got called
what's
out.
his
Yeah.
name? Yeah.
Wow.
I was
So
like,
yeah,
Jesus.
so back to where I was. I just want to tell everybody who doesn't know about how the Team Kayak Series layout is. So it's your best 10 fish over 2 days, no matter who catches them. You can each catch five, and both your five fish go in, but it's the top longest 10 fish. So he went up to the spot and he called me. He says, "Get your butt up here." I went up there, and as I was rolling in, he's catching his third fish. I'm seeing him pull up in the air. I'm like, "This is gonna be great." So we go along, and he starts circling around this one little area, and he says, "Go over there." I caught a few over there because as in this series, you can talk to each other, you can call each other. There's no
Okay.
like you can do whatever you have to do to catch your 10 fish, but you still have to follow the rules. No portaging, no getting out of your kayak. Like I banked a little bit. You can fish out of your kayak. You just can't be fishing off the bank like you can with Kayak Adventure Series. So you got to be fishing off your kayak. You can't be fishing on the bank, but you can still talk to each other electronically. Walkie talkies, whatever. Smoke
Nice.
signals. However you guys want to talk to each other, you can do that. So he was circling around and he says, "Go over there. There's a couple of stages over there." So I went over there. I catch an 8 incher. And he just starts laughing at me. He's like, he's like, can't you submit that? I said, no, it's only 8 inches. So Tyler's laughing at me. So the day goes on, and he's still catching, and I'm kind of like following behind him. He goes in, I'm following behind him because he's fishing fast. I'm fishing slow because it's how I've been liking the fish for the past 3 years. I don't know why. And he goes hits another area, and then I'm just kind of going behind him, and I'm catching all small fish. I think I only had like 3 or 4 fish at the end of my line on day one. I think Tyler had, how many did you have day one?
I caught 11 fish on day one, but
Eh,
nine of them were scoreable.
Yeah, and I had one fish. So my scoreable fish was 12 and a quarter or 12 and a half, I think. It was the only scoreable fish I put on the board that day. So it was a 9-to-1 ratio on day one. So I think at end of day one we were at, I forgot what place was it, eighth
We
place, I
were,
think.
yeah. Well, no, because I think we moved up. I think we were in fifth place or fourth place. I
How
thought.
many teams were there?
I don't
Uh,
remember.
47.
Teams are 20,
Okay.
24. Was there 24
nice.
teams?
Yeah, I think 24 teams.
Because there was 47 people.
Yeah, so there's one by himself. So yeah, so we had yeah, 24 teams probably. That would make sense, right?
Yeah, I think it was. I
Yeah.
think it was 24.
So 24 teams. So day two, I says, you go back to that spot because you're kicking butt there, and I'm going to do something else. So what we found out, what worked there, of course, day one was 35-mile-per-hour winds.
Woo.
Uh, Day two, a cold front
That's hard
came
to
in.
manage. You guys must
Well,
have spot lock or something, or are you just on the
no,
wheel all the
no,
time?
no. We just stayed. Where we found the
Torpedo.
fish. Yeah, torpedo. Where we found the fish, we were out of cover enough, and then when we did hit the main bodies of water, it wasn't that bad where we were, because the
Okay.
spot that I've been to numerous times is kind of protected, but can be rough out in the main lake. But day two, cold front came in. It was only 34 in the morning when we launched. It was supposed to be calmer winds, but where I went is a lot rougher than I think where he went on day one. So I had a little bit more wind. It was a northeast wind, and it took me an hour to hour and let me see. It took me half an hour to get my first spot, and then I dropped. I think it took me an hour and 5 minutes or so total to get to my spot from the ramp.
Oh wow.
And I was doing 4.8 is where I was holding my torpedo at. So I was doing almost 5 miles per hour. So I went about 5 miles, I guess you could say, roughly from the ramp. And as I was going up into this other cove, which I'd never been to before, I was watching my graph and I saw the temperature climb, just like where he was and where he found the fish. So the temperature went up about 5 degrees warmer. And for some reason, that
Significant.
5 degrees warmer, and there was a little, I think there's a little creek on my end, but it's not really even shown on the map. But where he was, there's a creek feed. So obviously a lot of times the creek feed can be colder though, but it was actually warming the water up there, and where I was warming up the water. So on day two, he was still catching. Day two, you caught what? You said
I had
20.
at least 20 fish. I caught 20 on video. I know.
Yeah,
Dang,
20,
going to town.
20 on video, and then I think day two I caught.
Same spot, Tyler?
Yeah. Well,
Same
most
area?
of it. Yeah, it was the same area. It was reloading. There's a creek that run through there, and those fish were
Okay.
wanting them. So I was fishing like 62-degree water. It was 60, 62, and the main lake was what, 54?
Mm-hmm.
So I knew they were kind of running to me.
I
Yeah.
thought they were.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Like, how did the bass know? How did bass tell other bass, hey, the warm water's over here? So yeah. So he went back to the same spot. I found to a new spot, and I started throwing. I was freezing my butt off, and I was like shaking. That's in my video when I actually edit it. I'm
It's
shaking.
the
And,
worst when you're shivering and
is.
fishing.
yeah. I don't dress a lot. I don't like dressing heavy. Tyler had bibs. He's like, you want to use some bibs? I'm like, nah, I'm good. So I just started off with a Cinco. I started fishing, caught like a little 10, a little 12, and I think another little one that I think it might have been like 15 and 15 something, which I think I was able to submit that one, but that one ended up getting called out. I think day two, maybe I caught 8 or 9 total,
Okay.
and only 4 of them were scoreable, or 5 of them were scoreable, but only 3 made them to the board. So at the end of day two, it was 7-3 ratio. So seven of Tyler's fish was scoreable, and then I had the next 3 biggest at the bottom. Day one, I lost I had to be at least a 20-incher. I think Tyler
Ugh.
lost 2 big ones on day one as well, or on day two.
On day two, I lost one big one, and then I lost another one that was, I don't know if it was scored or not, but I know there was one of them that was big.
Yeah. So with those 2 missed fish, if we both caught those fish, I know for a fact, because go from fourth to third place was only three quarters of an inch,
Yeah.
and from third to second I think was only like 2 inches, 2 1/4. So if we both caught those 20s, which I know that's where we're around, we would have moved up to second for sure. So it was really tight to top 4. Then after us, it dropped significantly to I think we had 190 some inches total, and I think it dropped down to like almost like 185, and then like 170 something. So it dropped
wow.
after us. Uh, you know, Casey Reed teamed up with Corey Dreyer. They both had like 80 some inches, so they didn't fish. They didn't work out for them. Russ was fishing there with somebody. He didn't have a great day either. I think Russ overall though had 100 some inches by himself. I think 115. I have to look. And then Jody Queen was fishing there with Abby. So I mean, there was a lot of good teams there, but on the other side of it, a lot of people that don't get a chance to win one. So it was good. Second place team was a father-daughter
Daughter.
team. Yeah, the daughter has only been on the kayak I think 3 times.
I love it.
So all he said to us during the awards ceremony, which I'll probably capture that in my video because it was a nice little story, is that he didn't care where they placed. They wanted to do this, and he just wanted to, he's worried about his daughter. So he knew it was going to be really rough both days on the water.
Yeah.
So he found a little tiny cove way up the Saluda River, and he says day one, they didn't do that great. Or the 2 days of practice, they didn't do that great, but then I think on the final day they did good, and then thing, and they ended up with second place, so it was good for them. And I
Pretty
think
good.
his daughter was able to put like a 20 1/4 on the board.
Yep.
My largest fish was 19 on day two, and Tyler's largest fish was 23 1/4.
Oh, the donkey.
Yeah,
Oh, for
Yeah,
Northeast
big
Ohio,
one.
that's a donkey. I don't know about for you guys down there, but up here,
No.
that's upper
That's a
echelon.
big one on Murray.
yeah, it's a
Okay.
big one in South Carolina. South Carolina is not like Florida. I mean, there's some 24s and 25s, but like I was telling Tyler, your normal around here is that 20 to 21. So as soon as you start getting over that
It's the
21
same up
inch,
here.
it starts getting to be, a little bit bigger. Once you hit that 23, 24, that's, like our bigger side of things here in South Carolina, but it's big enough for me. I mean, it was, because a lot of the fish, I mean, when I brought the 18 1/4 and I had, I thought it was gonna be like a 20-some incher. It weighed a ton. I don't carry a scale with me, and plus I'm not wasting the time during a tournament. But that thing was a beefy little football, so it pulled really well. It was pulling my drag, and I had my drag set pretty high.
Okay.
So it was
So
good though. Yeah.
what were you guys? You shared the story. You didn't share once what you're actually fishing with. What were you landing them on? Is that a bladed jig? What kind is it? It's
It's a
kind of
Z-Man.
blurry on my screen.
It's a
Z-Man?
jackhammer.
Jackhammer. All right.
Yep. Green pumpkin.
Is that your color?
It was a color I knew would work this time of year. So
Yeah. You got to
But-
throw that. You got to throw that red and orange this time of year on Murray. Yeah, I was throwing. On day one, I was following up with a mini max behind Tyler, and then a spinner bait. But I just figured he was going to fish aggressive. I was going to fish slow, and that's where I kind of that's where my thing is right now is fishing slow. That's why I see all the plastics behind me. And then
Not
I
just plastics behind you. I can guess what company that you're in conversations with right now.
no, that's me supporting
No.
local. No,
That's
Z-Man
just
is.
you?
That's just me. Z-Man down the street. I know $5 a bag, right? Z-Man's about 15 minutes from my house.
Okay, it makes it real easy to drop a bunch of cash.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm supposed to go there. I was supposed to have been there like 3 times to walk with the president and like go around the actual warehouse and stuff. But every time he's available, it's like a last minute thing. I get an email or a text from a buddy of mine that works there and says, "Oh, Daniel can meet with you tomorrow." I says, "Dude, I can't tomorrow. I got to do this, at work." And it's just like it's been working out that I cannot. It's just days where I cannot be off of work.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get over there and walk around with him. Yes, I have been in like a little bit of conversations with him, but like I told you before, I don't care. I mean, no matter what's behind me, Z-Man, it's my favorite baits. I like to use them. It's my way of supporting local anyway, because basically all the tackle stores around me, that's what's sold. I mean, we're more saltwater driven here. Being in the Charleston area where I'm at, it's more saltwater driven than freshwater. Yes, there's a lot of people who fish Sante Cooper, of course, and Lake Murray, but it's still a lot of Z-Man products based in all those tackle stores anyway. So
Yeah.
but yeah, day two, I started out with a Cinco. Same thing on day one, Cinco and the mag fatties and the fatties from them. And on day two, started off with the Cinco, like I said, and then it was just the mag fatties around docks. A lot of warmer, wind-driven docks I found, and I hit this one little cove. I hit those 3 fish right away, and that that helped. I just told Tyler I submitted to the board, so he's like, "I'll submit mine." And when he did that, we moved us up to third.
Oh,
And
nice.
then they turned the leaderboards off. And then when he caught that 23 and a quarter, he caught within
hate
the last
that.
50. Yeah, I know. He caught within the
leaderboards going off, man.
yeah.
he caught right in the last 15 minutes that he caught that fish. So when he caught that fish and he sent me a text, he's like kaboom. I'm like, dude, we got third place for sure. And then we get back to the
Yeah.
thing, and then we get back to the award ceremony, and they said fourth place, rice and bean. I'm like,
Flipping over some tables.
yeah, because I mean, third place was your hardware, so we got those, the big
Right.
little check, the Happy Gilmore checks. I mean, we got cash out of the deal, but it's still, I still wanted I still wanted the hardware though. But we still got plenty of time this year. I don't know how many events we're gonna totally fish. I know 3 for sure. We're gonna be hitting the Susquehanna event. We're gonna go to Kentucky Lake, correct, Tyler?
Yep.
And
Susquehanna, for KAS?
I don't know. I don't think Tyler has that much time off, right?
No, I won't be able to do the
Freaking work.
KS.
Yeah.
Freaking work.
I know.
I can make the Ohio. I think I can make the Ohio one.
Well, come on up.
Yeah, I want to go up there and try it. I haven't been up
There's
to Ohio
one-
yet.
2 hours from me, toward Columbus, like west, and there's another 2 hours east. 2 hours west, I'm partnering up with JT and fishing with Gramps, but I don't have a partner yet for the west. So if you guys, I don't want to break up the team if you're both coming up, obviously, but if not, reach out looking for a partner.
Is that the
Well,
one
the
that's in
kite-
Virginia?
That's the one that's close to outside of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
There's one over there. Then there's another one on the other side of the state, like 4 hours away. I'm not doing that one. But they're pretty
That'll
far
be
out
the
there. I
west.
really-
Yeah, that'll be the West Branch one. That's where Team Kayak Series will be doing their event right after
Oh, is he?
Drew's. Yeah. So the other one's on the west side of Pennsylvania, if you're looking at the map.
I need to go take a
So
look at that then. I didn't realize there's one close to me. It's on the west side of Pennsylvania. That's close to me. I'm only 2 hours from Pittsburgh, so I'll take a look.
Yeah.
Take a look, see.
But
I didn't
yeah,
realize he was up north this far. Gene was putting these on up here.
Oh, Gene?
Drew?
No, Gene's going to be over where Team Kayak Series is, but I think there's two. There's going to be two on the Kayak Adventure Series. Drew's going to have two in Pennsylvania.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
Too. I thought you were talking
Yeah.
TKS for a second. Sorry, my bad.
No, I might have
Alright.
got it mixed up. There's too many damn things anymore.
I know, all
TKS,
kinds of-
KAS,
Yeah.
KBF, this and that. What
That
we got to
is
do is
true.
we got to take the kayak thing out of it, and then we'll get rid of the K, and I think that will help.
There you go. I'm
You know.
all confused. All confused.
But yeah, but it was good though. We had a good time. One thing I did show today on social media, I don't know if you guys saw that one where me kicking the catch board over, because Tyler literally, and I'll share that on my screen because I was like, let me share that one in case you guys didn't see it on social media today. But I was like, let me post it, and I did a short for YouTube because Tyler's like, we did the board check. He's like, am I boring you that bad, Daren? Am I boring you?
No, I don't know what it is.
He's like, do you tether your catch board? I says, yeah. I was like, Tyler's like, I'll keep mine underneath the seat. But I was like, yeah, I'm going to tether it because it doesn't float.
Right.
So let me do this real quick. And this is what happened to me. And it's the first time it's ever happened. So this is my 19-inch when I found them on the dock. You see I'm all bundled up here, but if it's going to play.
You got your rain jacket on.
No, that's the kayak or die windbreaker.
Oh, those things are so juicy. Which, by the way, we'll
Yeah.
talk about Bill in
Well,
a second.
there goes the catch board.
Oh, boom, and it's gone. Do you know how much money I would have in catch boards?
Yeah,
If I didn't
so,
have mine
like,
tethered.
I'm like freezing, and I wasn't going to do a net because I noticed when I started using a net recently, and I've been using it for a few years because I lost a big one. I noticed that as soon as I go to take the pressure, I've noticed it a few times, and it doesn't happen a lot, but I'm like during a tournament, I'm just going to, just no net and just keep pressure on the fish. And as I was leaning over here, for some reason, I guess the way I'm leaning, I kicked my leg out and kicked the catch board right off.
Yeah, you did.
So I'm like,
Oh,
that's why you tether your catch board.
$85.
Yep.
Practice-
So, but that
practicing
was my
that
19.
Taekwondo.
That was my 19-incher though.
Nice. You're using cashing rods. You like those?
Yeah. Yep, for sure. Take that. So yeah, I've been using Cashin. I'm also using TFO now. So the Temple Fork Outfitter Professional Series, because I will not spend, especially on a kayak, I will not spend more than $150 on a pole. But the Cashin ones, the Element Series, which I just realized they actually came out with a series too.
Yeah. Debo just did a video on that.
Yeah. So, but I like the Element Series because of the price point. Their action because they have it built for cranking, multi-purpose and everything. They have the actions all figured out for you in case you're like not good at figuring out which rod you need for what. But at least if you get their rods, then later on you say, okay, I need this action to do chatterbait or whatever, But I just like it because the price point, American made, and they've been reliable. I've had my cash-ins now for, as I'm looking over here, I think I've been running those now for 4 years, I think,
Okay.
and I still haven't broken one. But I'm
Nice.
adding the TFO into. Actually, I did break one down on Gunnersville, going underneath a bridge. I had the tips up, and I actually broke one of my tips. But yes, that was me breaking it. But I've been running the TFOs now too. I just ordered another one today, just because I just want to try a different brand. And there's something I won't share publicly. Just something that turned me off about Cashin. But that's all I'm going to say. But yeah, they're good rods. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm going to slowly phase them out as I break them.
Oh, come on. I got to dig from the guy who says he's
Nah.
gonna say it, tell it like it is. You got to tell it like it is.
Okay, I guess I care. I don't care. I don't care if it
Yeah, you
behaves
don't
me,
care.
'cause
That's what I love about it.
Yeah, I
love
don't
about
care.
you.
So basically, this might have changed now. I've known
Sure.
people that worked. I've known people that work there, and the owner, which we know, Dr. Cash, and he calls himself. I'm gonna kind of laugh about that, but doesn't give any PTO. So I think if you're gonna build a American-made rod and you have American workers and you're not gonna pay your workers any vacation time, I think is BS. I'm sorry, and I don't know if it's changed, and I hope it has. But
Interesting.
that kind of turned me off.
Sure.
Yeah, just like hey, you want to get the real Ryan. So while we're at the tournament, right, we go to the award ceremony, and there was what 47 anglers
Yeah.
overall, and I think maybe 25 to 27 showed up to the award ceremony.
Uh,
I've been to a lot of awards, and it happens everywhere. And
Yeah.
most of the time, I'm at the bottom of the pile or mid pack. I will always go support every angler just because I believe we are as a community should be supporting each other. I
Yep.
think people who don't show up to the awards ceremonies are pieces of
oh,
crap, in
you
my
almost
opinion.
said it. You almost
Yeah,
said it.
pieces of shit. I'll say it. I don't care. But I think you should go be supporting everybody. When I lose, I support everybody, and when
Yeah.
I'm at the top, but to be honest with you, I don't care if they're there or not. I just think that they should be there to be supporting other people's. That's just my personal opinion. I mean,
Sure.
no matter what. I mean, look at look at the national championship. Pretty much, we all went there, and even for the what was the thing that we did, the knucklehead.
Yeah.
It was a fun community thing. So I just feel like
Oh
all
my
these
gosh.
people,
Everybody was there. 100%.
yeah, but I just feel like if no matter where you land, and you're doing these trips, allot the amount of time that you need to come to the award ceremony, not even for the whole thing, maybe just for like, half of it.
Sure.
I mean, a guy broke down, Damian Henderson. His truck broke down. He still showed up to the ceremony. And, I talked to him, shook hands, I'll mention his name. I mean, his truck broke down. He still made it there, and it's just like other people who made it there didn't make it there, and they were actually, not cashing a check, but they still would get like the Happy Gilmore check, or whatever. I don't know. I think you should be there to support everybody, no matter who you are, where you placed. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. And you can't sit around and say, "Oh, I wasn't planning on being there." Because trust me, if you got first, you'd be rolling in 1,000%.
Yeah.
It's a different story when you
So
place.
everybody was planning on going until that moment.
Yeah.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that.
Now unless I mean, if you're going to these events, you have to have the allotted time. I don't care where you are. If I mean, not you trying to squeeze it in, but still show up for a little bit, at least the beginning of it, to show
Yeah.
face and show that you care about everybody else around you. Because there's a lot of people there that may, if you're a bigger name in the community and you're always at the top, may be happy to come there to see you. So that's how I feel about it. But yeah, between that and the cash-in thing, I hope that's changed. I hope they actually give PTO to their workers. I just think
That's so
that
bizarre.
right.
I don't know if I've ever heard of a company in general, not just fishing related, not have a PTO. Why would you ever work for a company that doesn't give out PTO?
Exactly. So
Unless they do something ridiculous like unlimited PTO, which is just a really sneaky way of saying essentially we don't have to pay you out anything when you quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of turned me off. So things like that, I mean, they're still a great rod. I'm not going to bash them for that. They're still American made. Unbelievable. Good price point. They're in North Carolina. I know since I've moved to South Carolina, I know the workforce is not always the best, but give your guys and girls at least a week, 5 paid days at least. I'm not saying you have to give them 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or whatever, but at least give them in as you can build up just like you normally do everywhere else. I know I'm in construction. There's a lot of companies that don't pay you either. If you don't show up to work, you don't get paid. But those days are kind of over with, even in construction. Everybody I know gets PTO, whether it's you might have a 2 week max or whatever. But I don't know. It kind of turned me off just because I know people that work there, and to me that says a little bit about the owner. So if he ever sees this or anybody else who actually uses cash and rods, if they change that or don't like what I said and they shared the juice, I don't care. So
You're facing them out anyways.
yeah. So maybe somebody will see it and they'll actually tell them. We saw a live stream the other day and people are telling me that you don't do PTO. Maybe you should. So
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. Like I
mean-
said, I'm gonna run them till I break them. But once I break them, they're gonna be replaced with whatever I use. And as of right now, I'm heading towards TFO just because I do a lot of saltwater too, and they are a great price point. The series, the professional like Gen 2s. I still get them with the discount at Fish USA for $108.
There you go.
And then it's like $5 for shipping for the tube and then tax. So like I get a rod with shipping, tax, sent to my house for $120. So can't beat that. And I just got to order. So I got 3 of those. So I got 3 of those total now, and I still have 6 cash and rods. So, but they're unbelievable rods. I just don't support a company that way. I'm sorry. So,
Well, let's see. I'll do some digging. I want to see if there's actually a thing, or they realize that's pretty. I mean, there's studies out there. You got to give people rest, right? They're
yeah.
actually you're not losing, you're actually gaining because you get people a chance to refresh. They come back. You don't have high turnover rates. I mean, I can go on and on and on. It's just business one-on-one of why you want to be able to give your people rest and recharge. They come back and they want to continue to work for you hard. If you don't, they don't want to work for you hard, and they take it in other ways, right? They're just people are going to take that time in other ways, unfortunately. So, anyways, you just make people feel guilty for doing it. We'll see. I'll do some digging. I'm curious now. I'm curious.
Yeah, the people get rest. You just don't get paid.
Yeah.
You know. So, what rods are you running lately? I know we got what time we got here. We're at 50 minutes. I know you got to run for yours too. But so, what fishing rods are you running? Just whatever you want to try and do reviews for.
No, right now, I'm with Impulse, so I'm not exclusive. I don't have an exclusivity with Impulse, but I like their rods. Been using them for a couple of years. So I mean, I have a yak rod. I have Mach 2s. Just the evolution of me getting into lure specific rods. And I can't tell you how much of a difference that's made on how you handle fish and how it works at lure. It's pretty incredible. But I know not everybody can afford or even want to get into that type of level of fishing. But for me, I'm there and I friggin' love it. So run Impulse. I snapped my yak rod. I had them on the show and I got one at discount. Was using it out. I liked it. Caught at one time that's what I caught my PB down in Knucklehead on my first year was a yak rod. But I lost a couple rods. My brother and I were driving around in a truck fishing and wade fishing. We're just bouncing in and out of rivers in Pennsylvania. And the cooler fell over and it snapped 3 of my rods. And I was like, there went $500. All the tips, snap, snap, snap. My yak rod was one of it. And I never really replaced them. I'm to the point now where I have so many freaking rods. It's like, okay, this is getting a little ridiculous, but I love it. Now I have all the rods I need. I'm now a little bit short on the reels. And so just got a couple Tatulas that I got this past winter. I got a Corrado K, which I really like. Still got the Mach 2, which I really like. I mean, I'd prefer to invest in a rod over the reel, but that's just me personally.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, those Cash and Element rods. I mean, the technique, how they have it all laid out, they got everything labeled on the rod. I mean, it really does work well for what I've used them for. Like I've been running them now for 4 years, so I will not bashing the rods. I just didn't like the company, and to me, that just turns me off, and I'll just go a different direction. But I'm with you too. The rods, you can still get a decent rod, I think, at that price point. Like the Cash and the TFO is good, because, like you said, I would be upset if I broke 3-4 of my rods. So I'd rather just have $100, $120, $150 rods max. Because I used to have boats. So when I was on the boat, it would just go in the truck and the rod tubes on my truck box. So they're always protected going in and onto the boat. Since I've changed to a kayak, I will not spend that kind of money on the rod. I'll spend the money on the reel because I beat them up, so. But, I just picked up here, speaking of reels, I got the Mega Jaws. So, from Cast King, I've been getting some of that. But, because I've had 3 baits reels, 3 of them. Break on me, but they've been warranted every time. I'm sending another one back now. It's just been small little things, but they just keep fixing them and they're upgrading the parts because all my reels I have are newer from when they first came out, so they're all like the Gen 1 Hondos, and I know they've made improvements, so they're actually going to be putting a new line guide on mine when I send it back. But you can't bash baits because they are unbelievable. The tolerances are so tight. And they just keep fixing them. So I'm not going to complain about it, but I won't. I don't know if I say I won't buy anymore, but I mean I probably will down the line. But this reel, The Cast King Mega Jaws Elite or whatever, basically. I mean, it's got a flip and switch on it, which is nice. It's very comfortable in my hand, and it's really smooth. But I do get a little bit of flex I can see on the handle.
Oh,
The
bit
baits
of
you
play,
won't, but yeah, a
right?
little bit of play. But the baits hundo, which is sitting right here, I mean, it's all metal. I mean, I can still bend it, but it takes a lot more. But yeah, they're good reels. So I'm going to be running, Cast King. So I'm going to have the baits, and I have the Cast King. So I have on one end of the spectrum to the other. They've sent me a couple to do some reviews on, and I was actually using them in the tournament.
Nice.
I have the, was it the Royal Legend Pro and the Royal Legend 2? So you got a $50 reel and a $90 reel. And be honest with you, I do feel a little bit different in the $90 reel, but for what it does, I it's fine for me. I don't
Yeah.
see. Yes, the hundos are nice in your hand. They yes, they are a better reel. But for that average angler or that budget-friendly angler, I will say that so far I'm impressed since Cast King has improved over the past, let's say 5 years.
I'm becoming a
So
player.
yeah, I mean, I think that their $50 reels are fine. I mean, you don't
Yeah.
have, it's not the reels that catch the fish. It's not the rods. Will they make it comfortable in your hand all day? Will the rod help you catch the fish and land it? Yes, but you still have to get the fish at the end of the line. So, to me, you can catch a fish on a piece of bamboo and a string, so
I always see companies from the viewpoint of they don't create rods and reels to catch fish either.
yeah.
They create them to catch you first and foremost.
Just like lures.
So, yeah, I know, right? So good. So
So
good.
this Trica reels. I thought Trica was rods.
Yeah, I
They
do
actually
too.
make reels too?
I gotta look it up.
Yeah, look it up, Darren. You're the tech guy.
I
You're
got
the pro-
3 screens in front of me. Just
you're the professional
no.
live stream podcast guy, so
Trica
but
carbon fiber rods.
yeah, I know they made rods, but no, I've had them in my hands, Michael. The rods, the reels, I had never heard of before. I just thought they were rods. But yes, when I was down at
No, they got reels.
iCast, they got reels.
They have the. Let me see here. They have
But yes,
one.
okay.
Um,
Is it a baitcaster?
it's a bait caster, and
Okay.
I think it's TI 100. There's literally no drop down. You click on it, and it's one, and I can't read what it says. And there's reviews 4.9 out of 625 reviews. Interesting.
Okay.
All right.
Not bad.
So your answer to that, Michael, none of us have, but yeah, we'll check. We'll check it out. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reel and rod manufacturers out there anymore. But I'm happy with the Cast King. As I get older, some people like to go the direction of higher end because they say, well, I'm towards the end of my life. I might as well spend the money now. But as I'm getting older, I'm actually getting a little bit more not conscious of my money because I'm always going to spend it. But I'm starting to realize that you don't need the $400 reel. The $130 reel works just as good. But like I said, the baits reels will be with me for my life. They'll keep fixing them if I break them, and I can hand them down. But I'm not gonna. I don't know if I'll ever buy another one. But I say that. But I probably will. But
I
yeah,
mean, we talk about diminishing returns. Is what you look at. At what
yeah,
point is diminishing returns? And for every angler, it's a little bit different depending on kind of where you're at in your skill set. And do you really? I mean, if you're the weekend warrior, that diminishing return number is pretty low. If you're a pro,
Yeah.
that's when you can start justifying those, inches versus yards. But it's interesting, and it's
Yeah.
interesting because I see people get all riled up about it on content creation and the latest and greatest video about the latest and greatest piece of technologies that's out there. But it'll be interesting for sure. See how this all kind of plays out.
Yeah. But I'm not a brand loyalist anymore. Even with my trucks, I used to be like a Ford guy, but I'm all over the place now. I've tried them all. I've had them all. I've had 20 trucks or 16 trucks in like 23 years. So I've tried them
Jeez.
all. Yeah, I've had them all. I've had Hondas. I've had Toyotas. I've had GM. I've had Ford. I've had Ram. I've had them all. So, but yeah, overall, the tournament went well. We could have won third place, possibly second place if we didn't miss those fish. But with Tyler coming in the last 15 minutes with the 23 and a quarter, locked our place in. I think if he didn't catch that, I think if the next one down, I think we might have still held fourth. But I really thought we went, home with third place on that one. But it was,
That's a
it was a
bummer
couple.
too, going into it
Yeah,
thinking, yeah, we for sure locked in
yeah,
third because of your upgrade. There's
yeah,
no way. Oh, it's a big bummer.
yeah. But we'll still do it though. We'll still kick some butt this year. Tyler's a great fisherman. I know Tyler will be doing probably some other tournaments on his own as well too. So, I know he'll do well all year long. But how about for you? Besides Kayak Adventure Series, you gonna do anything else, or is that just gonna be within that area? You think you'll be
Yeah, it's kind of
driving to?
time. I gotta stay local, and so I typically fish every KBF monthly around
Okay.
here. It's a way to stay connected. It just keeps me competitive while I'm on the water all throughout the year. So I'll do those. I got 2 KASs, um,
Hmm.
maybe a local, but those are the ones I'm committed to so far.
Okay.
Yeah,
And your
Have you
kayak,
done
you're
a
gonna.
KAS?
I haven't.
Oh,
No,
it's
this will be
fun.
my first 2 years, and so my first
Nice.
2 tournaments. So should be good times. Now I've talked about it a whole lot because I just had Drew on a few weeks ago, and he got on and chit chatted about it, and
Hmm.
so it's been. And my co-host for my podcast, Seth Taylor, just finished first on the Calapalooza for the team series. Got second or third. Got third for the individual, and so they were down there making it happen. So I've heard a lot about it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
It's a good time.
Yeah, no, you'll have a fun. He does a lot of effort into it, and just meeting up with everybody in the Bass U brunch, and everybody meeting for dinner the night before. It's a good time, for sure. So I don't know. I'll see what else I can make this year. I may try to make another kayak adventure series with Drew and them or whatever, but we'll see how that all works out. But as far as your kayak, you're going to be sticking with what you have for now. You see anything in the future going to a different kayak and going fully motorized?
I have a motor. I'm stern mounted NK 180 on my P127, so it
That's
gets
right.
me
You
to
do have a
where.
motor now. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, I really love bona fide kayaks, and
Hmm.
so I'm gonna try to stick with there. So if I were to get something, I might get myself into a non-pedal drive, so they're XTR or PWR. And I also need to round out my fleet because I don't have a river kayak either, and I kind of want to get into that a little bit more.
New canoe?
So that's probably no, I'll probably do the R. Nice. So that's kind of where I'm thinking right now. I have some companies reaching out to me around kayaks, but no, I'm not biting at the moment. I'm pretty selective. Um, I can't tell you how many emails I get from companies, most of them from China, and they're garbage. But I'm starting to get actually reputable companies reaching out to me, and I'm really selective of who I lock arms with because
Hmm.
I have a, I just have I hate calling this. I have a personal brand that I want to keep the fidelity of, and so I just don't want to willy nilly throw my name against a company. And it's interesting too. Like, to what degree are companies looking at content creators and be like, okay, I'll partner with them, burn through their sphere of influence, dump them, find another one, burn through. I wonder if these conversations are taking place at the business level. I'm sure they are because a lot of these companies are cutthroat. So it's going to be interesting. I think the next 3 years are going to be a boom for content creators. I think a lot of companies. Um, it's interesting what's been happening, in my opinion. A lot of times they'll out of the gate, everyone's like, "Oh, let's partner with content creators," and a lot of content creators just burned companies, and so
Hmm.
that kind of took place. Now companies are wising up a bit, and they're like, "Hey, we want to see straight return," and so a lot of them are like, "Oh, affiliate, we'll give you a code, we'll give you a code, we'll give you a code, and see how many you can sell." I was like, "Well, that's only if you can track directly what I can sell." There's a lot of the times you're proving relevance through 50 different content creators using and promoting and liking, actually liking, not fake liking, your rods, reels, or whatever it is that you're selling. Um, and so I don't know. It's an interesting time right now because that's hard to just continue to sell and get a commission off of. You don't. No one's going to be able to go full time on that. So I don't know. I think the next 3 years are going to be interesting for content creators, for myself personally. And so we will see. We will see what happens. I'll take everyone along for the ride.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. That's good. So
It's a
we'll kind
plan.
of get you off here soon, and so you can go on your
I
way.
got 10 minutes. I'm good.
So I got 2 more questions for you. Bucket list place to fish. Where do you want to go that you want to make it before you die?
Yeah, and I've actually been there before and want to go again, and so I love it. It's the Boundary Waters. So I go up to Ely, Minnesota, and they essentially just get a carbon fiber canoe, and they'll shuttle you to the first portage, and then from there they'll say, "Hey, I'll see you in 7 days. Make sure you make it back here." And essentially, you just go and you portage into another lake, which you portage into another lake, and you portage to another lake, and you might not see anybody for days. There's bald
Okay.
eagles, pike, smallmouth. It's insane fishing, and you're kind of out there. Could be risky business. If you get injured, you got days before you can. There's no cell phone service, no nothing. It's like you just got to meet them back at that time, at that place. And
Okay.
so it's just beautiful, beautiful country. And I just love being away. I love places, and there's some places in Pennsylvania that I fish. And it used to be true. It's not so much true anymore where you don't have any cell phone service. I used to be able to tell everybody, I'm going fishing so remote. Don't even call me because I won't even be able to get it. And now if I say that, it's an actual lie because cell phone coverage is getting better. This place, it's actually, you're not going to hear from me because I'm not going to get messages until I get back. And so I love completely, especially as a content creator. I'm constantly on social media. I'm constantly posting, constantly creating. I like those unplugging moments. And so the Boundary Waters in Ely, Minnesota, I could look over here and I'm fishing. There's Canada. And I look on the other side of the pond and it's the United States. So that's where you're fishing.
Okay. So basically, you're saying you don't like people. You want to get away from everybody and just be away from
I
life.
think because I ratchet up the people so much with what I do, semi full time, it's like I need to ratchet it down just to. I'm not an introvert. I'm kind of ambidextrous when it comes to introverted, extroverted. So I don't know. There's my
That's okay.
roundabout answer.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like I'm here to help people, but at the same time, I don't like people. So that's how I am. I'll help you in any way. I'm the most nicest person, and I'll do anything I can for people. But at the same time, I have no problem being by myself either. So last question, and we'll let you go on to your thing. If you could fish with anyone, past or present, who would it be?
That's a good question. I don't know if I have an answer for you right now. Honestly, what I'd love to do more of is just fish with my dad, and he's still here, so I can still do that. And so,
nothing wrong with that answer. Hey,
Yeah.
And listen, take your own advice, do it because you just never know. I mean, I just had that conversation with Chad, and talking about his grandfather. Just so I brought that up last time when had Chad on. Like, you just don't know. You think you got to make time to fish and be with the people you want to be with, because you just don't know. So make time for that and get out with your father and fish for sure. Because if you don't, you'll regret it.
Yeah. And my brother. I love fishing with my brother too. Sometimes he makes it into my videos, but anytime I can fish with my dad or my brother, and I can't wait to start fishing with my girls when they start actually caring about it. So we'll see if that ever happens.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right. Well, Daren, it was nice having you on tonight. Kind of gave you a small little recap. Tyler probably working on his video for YouTube for the Team
you have a
Kayak
channel?
series.
Let me go over
Yeah,
here.
so
I got to
follow.
Yeah, I don't know if I did have
21.
Yeah, Tyler being 21. So build up Tyler if you guys haven't been, because Tyler's content creation and editing skills is really well. He does, he's got the drone footage. He's done some drone footage that we can actually use on our on my video too as well for the for the Team Kayak one coming up, which will probably be in about 2 weeks. I'll have that one ready to go out. But yeah. Tyler does a lot of good stuff, so let's get Tyler built up too. You're gonna be seeing a lot more of Tyler in tournaments, I think, and up at the top of the leaderboard. And like I said, his content creation is good, and he's just gonna put more effort into it. So go check out his videos, any of you guys. So it's Tyler Bean. Actually, I thought I had Tyler.
21.
Yeah, Tyler Bean 21. I think I had him on I've had Tyler on before, and I shared this thing, but I don't think I saved this banner in here. But yeah, it's Tyler Bean. That's why we got Rice and Bean as the team. 21.
There you go.
So
Tyler,
same thing.
you're at 529. Now it's 530. Boom. Look forward to seeing your content.
Appreciate it.
Heck yeah,
And same
man.
thing with his Instagram, Tyler Bean 21, and Facebook too, right? Yeah. So
Yeah,
he's across it
Facebook
all.
is just Tyler Bean.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Heck yeah, man. I love supporting other content creators. Is it a dream of yours to ever go full time? You're like, hey, I just enjoy doing this on the
Yeah,
side.
man. I actually enjoy editing and shooting the videos, like
Yeah.
seeing what I can come up with. I want a GoPro for the Kayak Adventure Series at the
Oh, yeah?
Palooza for
There you go.
editing a video and submitting it to Drew and the guys. So
Yeah.
that
That's
was
awesome.
pretty neat. So
Yeah, I'm
Tyler-
looking at
Tyler
I
some of
just
enjoys that
enjoy
part.
the adventure.
Heck yeah. All right. Well,
All right,
Ryan,
well-
thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, no problem.
It
We'll have
was
you on
fun.
again, and I just want to get a little bit of insight to Daren, ask you those questions, and put you on the spot with some things, and get people to know you a little bit more too, if they don't know you from on my side of things. And go follow Daren at Wendell's Fishing. His thing's right there. Daren is a great spokesman, I guess I could say, for the kayak community, and he shares a lot of knowledge. He does a lot of fact searching and puts a lot of effort into his videos to help you guys out there learn things about everything that he's using and buying himself. So go give him a follow as well. You can learn a lot of things from Daren as well, and also Tyler. His videos are great to watch for fishing. I enjoy watching them as well, and it's nice having Tyler with me on the water. As a teammate and also as a cameraman. Tyler's always filming and stuff, so which is nice. But during the tournament, this guy grinded just like we both did. I'm out there, and we hopefully next time we'll get a little higher up. But we're happy with that fourth place, and I wish we went home with the hardware, but we'll get it yet this year. And so follow along on Team Kayak Series on all the tournaments are on Tourney X, so you can follow along and see where we are. And it was a blast though. But it was nice having you on, Daren. I'll have you on
Yeah.
again. And I appreciate everybody who watched tonight and people who rewatch this later. And if you get mad at what I said about cashing, don't care.
Don't
So-
care.
Don't care. So, all right, guys. I will catch you all later. Have a good night.
All right, guys, have a good one. See
Yeah,
you.
dude.
You too.